So welcome guys. I'll share my screen, and as usual, we'll start off with some fundamentals. Fear and Greed Index. We are up 4 points from yesterday, right? We are currently at 22 instead of 18, so it's a welcome change, right? And we can see here that in terms of what we are creating on our graph. So if I come back down and bring this range all the way here, we are forming bullish butt cheeks on the fear and greed index, which does tell me that there is bigger incentive to head up. Now, we don't normally do this, but when we go to, I guess, oh no, this all is fine. Yeah. Now, we don't normally do this, but when we go to the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, something interesting is happening. We have about an even liquidity, and we are approaching the weekend. So I do suspect we're going to have some kind of dump soon, given the even liquidity. On the 7 day, there are more longs than shorts, which again incentivizes a move to the downside up until perhaps the cluster at around 62.5 thousand is hit. So I do suspect a move back to 62.5 thousand, and I'm probably going to look for some kind of short at that region. Let's have a look at the 30 day. There are more shorts still, but we do have a huge cluster, and this cluster about ends at 63.5. So quite a few levels in terms of the potential short zone. We can see that price action is closer to the downside, but there is this huge cluster at 62.2 thousand, which could be another interesting point to look at in terms of our levels. Looking at the RSI heat map, we can see that a lot of coins on the 4 hour are now heading to overbought, the likes of Fartcoin, ADA, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. So I do want to look at a couple of these coins. So the likes of Bitcoin Cash is one of them. Let's have also a look at Allo. It's just been insane, right? It's been quite the performer. Fartcoin is also something we can look at. It is a meme coin, and those things have very little to no value, other than the fact that they're memes. On the 24-hour, Fartcoin is still really strong. Solana still performing really well. Fartcoin is on the Solana blockchain, so that could also explain some of Fartcoin's activity. And we have the likes of Grass also doing pretty well here on the 24-hour. Let's look at the 1 week, and we'll find that Dixie is still performing pretty well. Hype is still performing really well. Magma is performing pretty well as well. TAC is also performing well. In fact, TAC is the most overbought in terms of the 1 week RSI. The average RSI is still in weak, but we can see that there is a bigger move to the upside from a lot of these coins. Your Protocol also performing pretty well. Aave also performing pretty well. We can also have a look at Zcash. Now, looking at the heat map, we can see that there is a hotspot at 62.5 and a minor hotspot at 60,000 on the 24-hour. When we go to the 3 day, the story changes a little bit. Our hotspot is at 60,000 and no real hotspot to the upside. On the 1 week, we should have a hotspot to the upside, right, at around 62.5, as well as one below at 60,000. And if we go to the 1 month, major hotspot to the upside at 67,000. Terrible number. And then on the 6 month, which is sort of our long-term basis, right? Hotspots at 83,000, 85,000, 93,000, and a major one at 66,000. So very interesting here on the fundamentals. Let's have a look at sort of the news that's coming out. So Citibank projects Brent crude falling to $60 by year end. So those analysts are recommending traders sell into any summer oil price rallies, projecting Brent will fall $60 to $65. Now, the issue I feel with this analysis is that it presumes that absolutely nothing is going to happen anymore in the Middle East, right, in terms of US-Iran or the Strait of Hormuz. But obviously, quite a few things can still happen. Now, JP Morgan is also projecting a bearish stance, and Goldman Sachs also expects a decline. But the thing is, with these banks, often they say the opposite of what they're actually trying to do to get people to bet in the direction. So we have to always take information with a grain of salt. Obviously, they could be telling the truth, but when you have a coordinated stance from major banks, it gets a little sketchy. Now, the oil market appears caught between two forces, easing geopolitical risks and improving supply, with the lingering uncertainty over the durability of the US-Iran peace process. Oh, hey, Digital. Welcome. But yeah, so despite news that, the optimism that's coming in, I'm still a little bit wary. I'm definitely in the crowd that thinks that some of this might be a little bit full of shit. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that's the case. Bottoms up. Exactly. So, other news, Bitcoin rebounds past 60K. As we know, we are having markers saying that 62.5, 63,000 may be the local top. We'll have to see. But what other things are interesting here? So Kevin Warsh at the ECB forum in Sintra comments that improved macro sentiment around risk assets, with Bitcoin added roughly $36 billion in market cap as it pushes back above $60,000, lifting the total crypto market cap above $2.1 trillion. So analysts at Galaxy Research have warned Bitcoin could still test the $40,000 to $46,000 range, where Citi's bear case sits around 53,000. Very interesting. But for now, the reclamation of 60 and Strategy's new capital framework have given bulls a reason to exhale. Yeah. Let's head into the technicals because that is the fun part, and let's see if this can hold in terms of water. Let me just stop sharing the screen, and then let's head over to the technicals because that is the fun part. Sharing screen. So first things first, USDT dominance. It closed below the 618. So longs are favored right now. And on a weekly perspective, I bet this looks like a bearish butt cheek. So just to confirm if we're right, let's go into the weekly. Let's see if this is indeed bearish butt cheeks. It actually doesn't look like bearish butt cheeks on the weekly. Oh no, it could. Yeah, this could be your first cheek. This could be the second cheek, but this could also be a upward wedge that's sort of starting to form. So let me just quickly delete some of these, right? Because we can just draw them back in, get our trend line. We go from this top to that top, and then we'll go from this bottom to this bottom, and you can see that it's in a wedge of some kind, right? So this is a rising wedge, technically. So USDT dominance does look like it wants to head down. That being said, it going down has to be sort of confirmed by a break below, what is this, 8.6%. We can see that your Delta Pulse Wave here on the weekly is starting to kink to the downside. So it is starting to lose steam. We might actually have a bullish case happening for us. We can also see that this region right here is support, right? It happens to be support for USDT dominance, which means that you could easily come back here and bounce off, make a lower, a higher high, but not really that significantly higher. And from there, you could probably capitulate again in terms of USDT dominance, which of course means which is bullish for the rest of the market. Yeah, could be forming a triple cheek. So when we zoom into the daily, right, this area right here, I said if we close below this region, right, expect a visit to this support at 8.4%. And if we start closing below 8.4%, then we're definitely going down to 8%. So with this, we can also see that we're about to test the zero line here on the CPO Plus. There is a chance to bounce at this region for USDT dominance. But as it stands, our long scalps and long swings are probably the right way to go. Speaking of long scalps, unfortunately our BNB trade got killed off. The stop loss should have been a little bit lower. We can see that eventually it did start going back up, so that sucks, right? But you know, it is the game of the trade, right? We were looking at potential bullish butt cheeks, capitulated, came back down, made bullish butt cheeks over here, came back up. So the logic to go long was sound, but the entry was just a little bit too tight. So that sucks. Our hype long is still in the business, right? We're still doing pretty well on hype. 4 hour is heading up to near overbought. Delta Pulse Wave still looks good. 30 minutes still looks okay, right? It forms support. It looks okay. It is starting to show a little bit of weakness here on the 30 minutes, but the 4 hour still looks good. So I think we should still be okay. Now, if we go to the 12 hour on hype, right, and we'll cover Bitcoin in just a moment. If we go to the 12 hour on hype, we are about to approach the 618. The 12 hour is also nearing that upper extremity, but it is only crossing the zero line right now, which means that I do think a full take profit could happen on hype, and it wouldn't surprise me if we start just going up to 81 and all-time, well, is it all, it's not all-time highs. Oh yeah, it is all-time highs. All-time highs, woo! And on the 12 hour, this does look like bullish butt cheeks, right? Bullish butt cheeks. So yeah, I think hype should be okay, and we should still look for long scalps, right? We could start positioning for potential shorts, short swings or short positions, but right now long scalps seem to be the way to go. When we look at Bitcoin, so first things first on the 4 hour, right, this is the 5 minutes, let's change this to the 15, start from there. 4 hour looks pretty good, right? This does look like your bullish butt cheek pattern, right? A little bit weird on the cheeks there, but it does look like some sort of double bottom pattern. Did get above the zero line on the Delta Pulse Wave, but right now it is facing resistance. When we checked the fundamentals earlier, 62.5 was sort of the number that kept popping up. And if we look over here, 62.5 coincides with the 4 hour point of interest, a bearish order block, and your dynamic reactor. And just above it is your 618. So Bitcoin has a lot of resistance to get over before we can really say that it's going to go back to our higher levels, such as 68,000. So I'm curious to see how we're going to react at these reactors, given that how we're going to react at these reactors, given that, well, we have a ton of resistance. So analysis on banana. Do you presume 114.14 target is likely? Okay, let me just check. I don't know why it's not opening for me. Okay, there we go. I think it's a little bit far. I get how you're measuring it. I think it's a little far. The 1 day could stop at 92, right? 80. That red box is resistance, so that's near 90, right? So 89 could be very difficult resistance, and then smack dab 92 could be very difficult resistance before you get to 114. Now, it's also going to be definitely influenced by USDT dominance. If we start falling below the 8.4% support on USDT dominance, then absolutely 114 could be in the cards, right? And as we look on Solana, and this was an idea from yesterday, not something that we actually entered, we are starting to lose a lot of steam on Solana though. So the daily does look conducive for a bigger push, right? It's a very clear bullish butt cheek pattern. That said, you are overbought on the daily. And we were thinking of potentially shorting at the daily dynamic reactor, retest the top of the cheeks, right? And then you can probably go long from there. But again, you have so much resistance. I think if we are thinking about targets that are more realistic, 107 or 108 is more realistic to me than 114, and 108 to 114 is significant, right? It's a significant difference. It's roughly a 5.75, close to 6% difference. So that could mean the difference between being able to close fully or not. I'd be a little cautious, right? I wouldn't go long, or do any long swings at the moment if you're not already in. I think it's a little dangerous to do long swings. Long scalps, probably the way to go. Short swings into the weekend might be a play, given that we are getting exhausted on a lot of our lower time frames, like the 4 hour, and also the 1 day on Solana. So yeah, let's go back to the 4 hour. 4 hour, boom. Close this. Okay. Oh man, I remember. Shoot, I don't remember when I first started calling it bullish butt cheeks, but my first aha moment when I saw a double bottom, I was in a, I was in a Tau trade, and back then all my friends were saying Tau's gonna die, it's gonna go down, and I told them no. Look at this, double bottom, right? This double bottom is double bottoming, and they're like, no, that's a dead cat bounce, and then lo and behold, it was a double bottom, and I came out that night being able to afford, well, not only dinner but quite a few other things. So that was a big aha moment, and ever since I act on butt cheeks, right? If I see a butt cheek, I'm gonna act on it. Thank goodness that in these videos I no longer have my camera on, right? It's literally just audio and the charts. But oh my goodness, I feel bad for OC who has to watch this. But yeah, I'd be careful, right? I'm not saying don't go long. The evidence does point to long as seemingly the answer up until USDT dominance starts finding support again. But what I am saying is that here on the daily, we are getting exhausted. There are a lot of points of exhaustion. Now, again, exhaustion does not always mean we're going to reverse, right? It just means that it's exhausted. Right now, Bitcoin, for example, is not even at the zero line. It's just trying to break above it. We are getting a lot of strength on the Delta Pulse Wave right here. So, again, for Bitcoin, my lower high target will probably be 67,000, around this region right here, to go short. Now, if Solana, in the period that Bitcoin goes from 62 to 67,000, starts getting to the 90s, then hooray, right? But if not, I think we're bringing this down to 52, like 52-ish thousand. That's what I'm potentially looking at. In the meantime, let's look at oil. So oil is currently trading at, on our exchanges, it's currently trading at 68.82, right? And regular oil is starting to find some kind of bottom. I think it's definitely starting. I mean, at some point this wedge right here has to find some kind of support. But I do think the reason it's crashing so hard is just because of how overinflated the sudden move on oil was. But at some point this wedge has to start breaking to the upside again. And here on the daily, we are getting some sort of strength back on the Delta Pulse Wave, right? We have some, it's starting to kink up. So we are getting strength back. Ribbon has flipped green. So I do think we're going to retest our 200-week and 200-day moving averages at around 74. And from there, we can probably see if we're going to break to the upside or if we're going to continue our move to the downside. Oh, hey, Humdroid, welcome. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is a 2-hour stream just like yesterday because I did miss the Wednesday stream. So the extra hour to make up for Wednesday. Hello, hello. But yeah. So for me with oil, I do think if we start reclaiming some supports, then we could consider going back on oil. So right now, this was a support 69 that we broke below. We're currently retesting. We found support at around 68. It's a minor support, but it's still support nonetheless. If we can get above it, break, retest, go up, I do think a $74 oil could happen. I think it could happen. Yeah. Android, we got stopped out on Binance. I'm so sad about it. I was asleep. It was like 5 a.m. I checked when it hit this. My time. Okay, no, it was 6 a.m. when it hit this. I was so sad. We were exit liquidity. Terrible. And right now it's moving back where we wanted it to. Man, I'm disappointed with that. I know. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. The logic was right. Going long based on the 4-hour was right. I should have lowered the stop loss a little bit. Yeah. Oh well. It does not do to dwell on. What did Dumbledore say? Frick! It does not do to dwell on something. Was it? I don't know. And I call myself a Harry Potter fan. Terrible. Let's look at gold. So gold, you know what? Bullish butt cheeks on gold. You know, we were right in the sense that we are getting those bullish cheeks on gold. Now, we didn't get a retest of our potential entry, which sucks. I do want that retest, but we might have it now. So on the 4-hour, we can see that we are getting rejected on the dynamic reactor. And I'll try to delete some of these lines so we can actually see what we're dealing with here on the 4-hour. Let's move this for a quick sec. But we can see that gold did get those bullish cheeks. So a retest of the neckline could be in order. So the neckline, again for context, is at 4,078. We didn't get a retest of the neckline, but right now we could be having that retest. Don't tell me. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Hold on. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, in that case you can have a higher, or rather a faster reactor, like much faster than the actual chart. So like on the 4-hour, we're gonna have a 30-minute dynamic reactor while having a, let's say, 12-hour quantum. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, okay. Stay safe, NYSE. You believe this XAU analysis is correct? All right, send it over. Yeah, I mean, for context, my 11 things, like there's Oracle here, and I have so much other things, and Dynamics, I understand having to have multiple dynamics because having all of them on could clutter your chart. But with Oracle, I think that would save me a lot of time. Okay, what is this? Ooh. Okay. So this is on the daily. Let me turn this off real quick. So this is on the daily. You're drawing the wedge from this swing low to this swing low, or like the bottom trend line. And then you're drawing the top from here. Is that right? And then your target is 4764. I think 4632 is a reasonable target. It's a 618, it's a 200-day moving average. Reasonable. And then your 4764, if I turn on the fibs, could be, I think it's at least somewhere in the middle. Might as well try to maximize it to 48, but in terms of being safe, I would take my final profit over here around this region, the 4632 mark. So yeah. But yeah, I do think gold is ultimately going to pump. But right now, I do suspect a retest. All right, let me see. Oh, damn. Okay. All right, it is 10 a.m. So let's try and look for for some potential trades. Given that, well, we have 1 hour 30 minutes to go, so we're only 25% of the way in the show. BNB, it's the one that got away. So let's not go back to it, right? Oh yeah, wait. Let's look at Fartcoin and AVAX. So AVAX right here. We were drawing this trend line. Quite insane. I think we can fix this a little bit now that we have something better to work with. Now AVAX to me did get above the reactors on the 4 hour, but it is such a sketchy coin. Like this right here is just a massive rising wedge. And if you have something that's so steep like this, it almost always, I'd say 84% of the time, that's such an arbitrary number. 84% of the time it's going to just break to the downside. Oh, now I see you left. Okay. But yeah, this thing is going to break to the downside. The only question is when. So if we go to the 1 day, let's see where. Oh, by the way, guys, I have a cold again, so I don't know what's gonna happen next week. I'll probably be Batman again, or Bruce Wayne, but I really don't know why I keep getting colds. I don't know if it's because I've been traveling or what exactly is happening, but yeah. Now on the daily, it doesn't look too bad, right? It looks pretty good. So a retest or a break to the 6.48 would make sense. It would allow AVAX to reset and really get a bigger move on because I mean it's above the zero line. So part of me does think it should fall, but I don't know if I am undermining how big of a fall it's gonna have. Hold on, I'm just gonna use some tissue. I'm back. So with AVAX, I do suspect some kind of fall. Uh, and the fall again 6.48 or to that point of interest 6.5 could be an interesting trade to have if we're potentially shorting this thing. But it's a little too early for me to short it or to think about what to do with AVAX. Let's have a look at Aave and then we can do Fartcoin. Oh, Aave, triple butt cheek on the 30 minutes. This could be a trade now scenario. It is on the neckline, right? Technically, that neckline should be cleaner, like over here. So this could be a retest on Aave. We could have a retest on Aave and then a break to the upside from there. Excuse me. So it is overbought on the 30 minutes. It is red. This is also an FVG, 618 and bullish order block. So if we're following USDT dominance and it is going to continue breaking to the downside, Aave could definitely be a trade we can have that we go long around the bullish order block, stop loss below that swing low, and then we can probably target, well, technically we could target some higher moves. So from here to here, that does place us around 88. But if we turn on our fibs, our extensions, where's the upper extension? Oh damn, it's really far. So I don't know if we should rely on that. We can probably go for 98. Let's just compare with, let's go to the 1 day. Yeah, that would be resistance. We could be making a double top. So Delta Pulse Wave did weaken, but it is starting to gain strength again, approaching the 0 line. This would be the top of that. Let's turn on our... Oh, perfect. That's the dynamic reactor. Okay. Okay. This could be something. Okay, this could be a long worth having. And then what's our... Okay, that's quite a big ratio. I think we can lower that a little bit, just to have a nicer trade. Then we can lower this to that bullish order block instead. Okay. Okay, I kind of like this. Yeah, okay, just for fun, let's use the trading view all chart patterns. And it suddenly shows to the downside. Okay, there's nothing. Let's turn this on just to see what we're dealing with. Oh, maybe we missed something. Okay, no, that's also the prime block and the previous week month high. Okay. Okay, I think I like this trade. Okay. So right now, I think it's best to wait for the retest on Aave, and then we can probably go long to that reactor. I think that'll be great. So that's one candidate that we already have. Let's try to look for other candidates. So we have Aave. Let's try to look at Fartcoin. Okay, I can see why It's average RSI showing overbought, or on the RSI heat map. Alright, so with Fartcoin, for daily is overbought, but there is no sign of stopping just yet. You know, not fully overextended. Zero line is being, well, there's incentive to continue to the upside. Right, when we go over here, that's closer to this order block, which is closer to the daily point of interest. Let's go to the 4 hour. Excuse me, 30-minute hype does look keen on potentially dropping. 4 hour massively overbought. Delta Pulse Wave is still solid though. Right, Delta Pulse Wave still wants up. The fluid zero line on the 30 minutes, not really biased yet. It is slightly biased to the upside, but this could very well just be some retracement back to the upside. So I think with Fartcoin, our indicators are saying short it, but it's a little bit sketchy. So if we zoom into these order blocks, 20-21%, this one held, the one we're currently getting rejected from, but the 4 hour Delta Pulse Wave definitely arguing that you could continue higher. This would be way up here. Oh, hey JR. You seem to have a lot of free time this time. Thank you for dropping by. I kind of took away from us last night though. It kind of sucked. But you know, you win some, you lose some. Bitcoin. How's Bitcoin doing right now? So Bitcoin. Ooh, okay. Let's go 1 hour Bitcoin. That's not the 1 hour. Nope, that's not the 1 hour either. That's great. Actually, I have the same problem, right? Because I'm going to law school, so I have to figure out what time I can do this. Because this is law school is my passion, or like law is my passion, but trading is my hobby, and it's what keeps me sane. Thank you so much. You're a legend too yourself. Um, Damn, what is Bitcoin doing? So 15 minutes looks like it's in some sort of wedge. Alright, some sort of rising wedge. It's a very ugly wedge to say the least. Right? You could say this is the wedge. Right? You could argue this it could flag out to the upside, but this is very unlikely given I don't know. Given that we are getting a lot of signals that we are getting overextended, Bitcoin is dropping right now. So we could have that, where is it? AVAX trade on our hands. So if I go back to AVAX, could have that drop right now. Right, we could probably just market short it, stop loss above, and then target the point of interest. It could be a viable strategy. That being said, okay. Okay, I think for today, going into the weekend, like I said, long scalps were in order, but I would start looking for shorts. So, if on the one day we fail to close below 8.6%, and this closes above or even starts green and bounces, I think we short. I think we short everything and go down to 52. Now, if we close below, I think that opens the floodgates to higher moves. So we'd be looking for whether or not we can hold 8.393, and if we can't, we head down. But essentially, we are looking at these levels for confirmation. So our hype trade's doing pretty well. Solana is back at 81. Did reach 80. My white lines. These ones? Oh, I drew them myself. So those are just like support resistance that I drew. Give me 1 sec, guys. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Really itchy nose. I have no clue why I have colds again. So, if I come back next week sounding like Bruce Wayne on Monday, you guys know the drill. Hey, Malfi, it's been a while. Welcome. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So we are watching these levels on USDT dominance. And we really will only get confirmation in the next 9 hours, but we can make educated guesses. So the trend is still bearish, right? It could reverse on us. This is support, so it could reverse on us. But the Delta Pulse Wave, again, it does look like it wants to go to that zero line, back down, really have a bearish move. So I would argue that we could look for long positions lower, right? We could do short scalps, long positions, because as things stand, they still look pretty good. Excuse me. But I don't know, the daily and the 4 hours on a lot of these coins are really struggling right now. Let me put this on the 4 hour. Yeah, they're kind of struggling. Let's go back to Fartcoin. So yeah, look at that. Imagine if we took that short. It would have been terrible. Let's go back to Fartcoin, see if we can have any coins that are much more conclusive. Yeah, I think ultimately, up until USDT dominance figures out where its bottom is, we're gonna head up in the long term sense. Uh, where's Fartcoin? So nice. Oh, you shorted up here, or like way over here? Nice, nice, nice. Okay. 4-hour Fartcoin looks terrible. 30-minute Fartcoin looks terrible. 4-hour is starting to flatten out on the Delta Pulse Wave, so this is an early signal to try and go short. I think Fartcoin's one of the only ones I would be confident shorting. But in the meantime, let's look at Allo. USDT.P it's been doing pretty well. Is there a blowfin? Not yet. Is it on everything except blowfin? Damn. Damn, that's sad. Okay. Anyone trading Allo? Or looking at Allo, or can look at Allo? Why don't we just open Mexi? Hello. Hello. I watched the Minions movie earlier, and that just reminded me of how they speak. Yeah. You know, the first Despicable Me film was really touching, right? It had a proper story, side story. It felt like a wonderful, genuinely good movie for the family. Minions was just a laugh. Like, it was pure comedy. You will laugh, and there are like funny references, but there's no real story behind it. It's a good flick to laugh at, but it's not something I think you'll watch multiple times. I only have aloe vera. Oh man, can you eat aloe vera? You can, right? Okay. Yeah, I know you can. Okay. Have you guys eaten aloe vera? Yeah, I know you can eat aloe vera, but you know everyone just uses it in cosmetics these days, so it's a little weird. Oh, interesting. Yeah, everyone uses it for cosmetics. Hey QXT, welcome to the show. All right, we still have what is this 40? No, that's 38 and 68. An hour and 8 minutes. Okay, let's get serious. Let's actually look for trades. Let's look at silver. It's been a while. Silver did find some kind of support. This is technically a V-shaped recovery on the weekly. Let's go down to the daily and check out some levels. So I'll go ahead and remove this. We don't really need to encircle that. Silver. I think silver could have a bullish butt cheek play out one of these days. That is over here. I wonder if it's gonna make a lower high. It did bounce off the 786. Man, what I use for healing, oh, probably not sunburn though, but what I use for healing is like this magnesium spray. Apparently it does help with like if your muscles really hurt. And you know what? It does do its job to an extent. But yeah. All right, let me bring it up. Here. Yeah. Oh, hey Stig, welcome. All right. have a look at Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash, we said that we could go for a long on Bitcoin Cash if it's able to break above, which it has, and then retest. So we're going to look for that retest. 15 minutes looks like it's starting to be bearish. We can see that it's heavily imbalanced in favor to the downside. 4 hours about to hit resistance, price action wise, and the Delta Pulse Wave is reaching a point where it's going to face initial resistance. So I think the question is, where is it going to start failing? With Bitcoin Cash, I do want to do some kind of scalp short to the downside. We can see there is a fib at 240, a predictive range fib. Let's put in this range right here. Turn this off. Okay, that's not that useful either. It's not really highlighting resistance, unfortunately. Let's try it on the 15 minutes. True though. If it has MTF and its UI makes a lot of sense, then I think it absolutely should be something you have in your toolkit. Let's turn on predictive ranges. The extension on the fib for the 15 minutes is over here, which is by this resistance. So I'm gonna place a mark right here for a potential short. And if we zoom out, our stop loss would be, I think that's good actually. And then we'd probably extend this to the downside there. Now this might be a little long, being honest, because we do want that nice risk to reward. Yeah, this is BCH. So BCH, you know, it is starting to wake up. It is starting to do something. It's got the bullish div. It is starting to move up, right? And I said that if it breaks your reactors, if it's able to get above resistance and retest, I think that's a great place to go long. So I suspect we can get some move back down to around 220, retest that point of control, but we're basically looking for some kind of extension, or overextension rather, on BCH for a potential short scalp. If we think that for USD dominance, or at least coming into the weekend, we might have some kind of push back up and then a break to the downside again. Son of a bitch. Oh, goodness. Oh, man. Oh, okay. All right, so let's see here. USDT dominance. Again, really giving sketchy signals right now. BCH, I'm just going to set an alert, see what happens. If it starts getting rejected, like a proper rejection, overbought as well on the CPO Plus on the 4 hour, I think that's also time to call it quits. 12 hours, massively overbought, right? Delta Pulse Wave still seems like it has a little bit of room to move, which is why we are placing it a little higher. Let's look at the 1 day. 1 day probably is overbought as well. Oh no, it still has a lot of room to move. So if the 12 hour is massively overbought while the 1 day isn't, this could very much turn into a goose head on the 1 day, right? And a goose head is just a retracement continuation. So if we go back to the 12 hour, that could very well translate into that move So a move up, it gets overextended, needs to take a little break to the downside, right? And then come back up, and we're back in business to go long. Let's have a look at. Actually, I don't want to look at BNB anymore. Oh, Zcash. Yeah, let's have a look at Zcash. Zcash on the 4 hour, this right here is an example of that goose head, where you had a move to the downside, translated to this move right here, and then you started moving back up, translated to this move right here. So, what are we looking at on the 30 minutes, 4 hour? 4 hours not yet overextended, so I do think it will probably still go back up, right? 30 minutes does appear bearish. So you could have a topping structure. This could close like this, and then we can probably short from there. Doge Ondo overbought. Interesting. With Zcash, I think I'll set an alert for 440, and then probably go long from there. Right. So just as an idea, again, an idea is not an endorsement. I don't have skin in the game when it comes to an idea. It's just an idea. I think this could definitely be something that plays out. Let's have a look at Ondo. Ondo is overbought on 30 minutes. It is struggling to get above that 4 hour dynamic reactor, it seems. However, the Delta Pulse Wave is king to the upside. So it could definitely continue back up. Is it a bullish butt cheek? You know what? I'd call it a bullish butt cheek. Higher right cheek. That is a good butt cheek, but we can see it's starting to fail. So maybe it is a bad butt cheek. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to smash that. I don't know if I want to do that right now. It's definitely not. The signals aren't there for me. Yeah, I don't know. It absolutely is fun to say. No, you need the Hulk GIF where it's like Hulk smash. Oh, does this say to KYC? It's time to smash. Oh, it says Tokyo. The KYC. Oh my good. Oh. Oh, the KYC. God. Okay. Let's look at Doge. Doge is probably suffering because of Elon. You trade too much. Stop it. That is not true. Not true. Okay, to be fair, there was a point in time that my my girl was saying that I look at trading more than I look at her, and I was just like, that is not true. That is not true. And she said, if it's not true, then why are you talking to me with your phone in your hand? And I can see that you're looking at Bitcoin. And I went, you got me there. Okay, fine. And then I dropped my phone right after. It was terrible. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay, maybe not that extreme. Uh, when someone says butt cheeks or says butt, we open our phones, look for a long. Uh, or no, you could be inverted butt cheeks, so you could look for a short. It really all depends. Shoot, what is something I do that I didn't do as a trader, but now that I am a trader, I just keep doing. I'm not gonna read that. This is being recorded. I'm not gonna read this. That you guys are lucky. The Discord screen isn't being recorded anymore, right? You guys are safe. This is a safe space, not being recorded. What I say is gonna be recorded, and OC's gonna hear it. The whole world's gonna hear it. It's a trading term. There was a point in time where not even a point in time. I have to be very conscious about like the patterns in my signals. One time I almost sent, it's got inverted butt cheeks. I have to be very careful. It's a really, really difficult endeavor. But okay, back to Doge. I think Doge continues higher. There is a clear point in which it's likely to be massively overextended, which is going to be at the order block. So something like this makes a lot more sense to me, and we would be able to target probably just above the dynamic reactor to be safe. We can raise it to the upper port of that FVG, right, to be safe, but this does look pretty good. Okay. No, hey, yo. I don't know if we should go that far. But you know what? You're kind of right. It does look like, oh my goodness. What are we doing? Oh man, I remember when Daga was here, it's like limp dick, the limp dick pattern, which is an actual pattern, apparently. Nope. I can still unsee it, Jr. Don't ruin this for me. Yeah, it's an actual pattern, and funny thing is, I do believe that's the correct name for it. Like that is the proper terminology for it. No. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. What is that? What is that a real chicken? What why does it why is its feet covered in feathers? The way people will look at this chat if they ever open the chat of settings and strategies is just the most out of context chat ever. Okay, let's look at Say. So Say did break above, defying expectations, which is a good thing. Right, it is at that trend line right there. I have no clue why we're at 520 here on Say. Oh, but damn, bearish div on Say. It's not, it really doesn't look good for Say. 30 minutes looks terrible for a long, at least from our oscillators. 4 hours still kind of bullish. Yes, I love trading. Absolutely. What what you how does that song go again? out and what you say. Oh, is that how it goes? I think I'm in Tagalog we call it sintonado, so I don't really remember the melody. Damn. Yeah, it is an epic tune. I think I was like 2 when it came out. I should check when it came out. Hold on, I have my phone right here. Jason, what you say? Oh, that you only meant way. Well, of course you did. What you say? Is that it? Yeah. When did it come out? Oh no, okay. I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old. Crazy. Honestly, the music from back then, actual bangers. Actual bangers. Man, I do miss 2000s music. Like, say what you will, but everything sounded unique despite sounding the same. I don't know why. But yeah, today's not really doing much. Let's have a look at Ada. It's been a while. Although personally, again, Ada is very difficult to trade right now, given just how much random stuff it's doing. And it's kind of failing to respect our oscillator at times, so it's very difficult to trade it. Now, here on the 4 hour, we are getting or facing resistance right now. We can also see that this area right here is that 618. So if we do start breaking down, we are going to get a retest at this region, more or less. Now, if we hop to the 12 hour, say no more. 12 hour massively overbought. Technically bullish butt cheeks. Right? You even got the bullish divs. This is kind of a sucky set of cheeks though, because, lower right cheek, we kind of don't want that. So either this is a bullish butt cheek and it's ready to rip, or this right here is setting up for a potential third cheek, which I guess in JR standards would be something very different, something like C and B. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you know what? It could be a C and B. It could be a C and B. So I am gonna put a line here just to see where if Ada can get there. If I turn on the predictive ranges, I do suspect there's something in. No, there's nothing in between. Never mind. What about support resistance? Okay, it's also a prime block. I had to verbally take a pause. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, absolutely not. What do you mean? When it's up, it goes. When it's down, it goes up. Mm. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'm not a scientist, so we can leave it at that. Oh God. Okay. I think if we do something like this, it better be super tight. Bullish butt cheek shadow. What? No, I think. Oh, is it? Yeah, you know what? That is the same face I have whenever I see bullish butt cheeks. Same face. I don't know about you guys, but that is the same face. I see them cheeks. Same face. Those cheeks never failed me before. No, no, no. When did I say that? I never said that. I never said that. No. When did I say that? Oh man. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Have I said that? Damn, I'm being gaslit. Yeah, okay, I know I said the recent one. I don't think I'm being gaslit hard right now. I don't know. Yeah, I know I said those cheeks never failed me before. I don't know about the first one. I don't know. Are you sure I said that? Really? I did? Oh my goodness. Okay. The things we can't do with hackers. Maybe we can actually. Okay, bullish div. Oh, there's a bullish div on Bitcoin on the weekly. Interesting. Okay. 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 Maybe we can start looking for longs. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Let's look for one that's a little bit um a bit closer to to a bullish butt cheek. Not like ADA where we're not really sure. I do want one that's a little bit more leveled, something like Bitcoin Cash. Is Doge a bullish butt cheek? Not really. What other coins are there? Oh, it's been a while. Let's look at Sui. Sui's not really making any noise. Hey, little fish, welcome. You're missing a lot of the. You think so? I don't know. Actually, maybe I can. Yeah. I don't know if I want to test out the waters though. Excuse me. I don't know about Sui either. Sui's not looking too hot. Okay. Oh, good morning. I hope you get a cup of coffee or a cup of Joe or a Timmy's. Ah, frick, I miss Timmy's. Ah, man, actually now that I think about it, I don't know if there are any Tim Hortons open anymore. I don't really see them. Ooh. Ooh, okay, and now I kind of want some Timmy's. For now. Oh yeah, I remember JR, you're from Canada. Oh my goodness. I just remember that. Oh no. Oh, oh. Uh, okay, to be fair, between Dunkin' and Tim Hortons, I think I prefer Tim Hortons donuts, but Dunkin's coffee is just too good. Like it's so I don't know. At least over here in the Philippines. Dunkin's coffee is amazing. Our frozen product at Tim's. Oh yeah, okay. If you bring Krispy Kreme in the chat, then yeah, Tim's is gone. Krispy Kreme donuts are another level. Okay, let's look at the M&Q micro Nasdaq. See what it's up to. Is it rebounding? Are those bullish butt cheeks? Oh my, bullish div, hidden bullish div on the 4 hour. Okay. The inverted butt cheek is done. Bullish butt cheeks have taken over. All hail the cheeks. Are they really not Canadian anymore? Oh, that's terrible. Oh goodness. So damn. M&Q, probably due for a long. Probably not the time to short the thing. S&P 500, same thing. It bounced off the trend line. Smack dab. We drew this. Was it yesterday? Oh no, last week. Yeah, we drew this last week. Bounced off the trend line. It's gonna break to the upside. Delta Pulse Wave is still strong. CPO Plus on the 4 hour bounced off the zero line, and the Delta Pulse Wave on the 4 hour, while it is while it is relatively weak, it's near the zero line. It is kinked to the upside. So, going into the weekend, obviously this is gonna pause, but it wouldn't surprise me if it starts trying to break to the upside. Now again, because you are in an ascending triangle, there is that distinct possibility that you just completely nuke. Right, something could happen next week that nukes it. But simply based on the 4 hour and a lot of our other reactors, it does appear as though we want a little bit more upside on the S&P and the Nasdaq. I guess so. Unfortunately, I didn't know that. When did they get bought out? Damn it. Why haven't I? Why haven't I gotten Timmy's recently? Oh, it just happened recently. Okay. How's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's back up 62. Yeah, Hype's doing really well. I think Hype is getting to full take profit. What's another coin that's reliable? You know what? Let's look at Ethereum. It's been a while. Not a fan, but why not? Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, you know what? Solid butt cheeks on the 4 hour, right? It's pretty leveled. Pretty leveled cheeks. We do adore leveled cheeks. CPO Plus looking to go to the zero line. Gonna test it on both the Fluid Zero Line MVP Ribbon and the CPO Plus. We do have a target here. 1698. Our base projection will probably look like this. Then I target maybe the 618 on the predictive ranges. Could even go to the 786 because of that FEG. Oh, okay. Ooh. I see. Okay, I knew about them being bought by Burger King. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Because the last time I was in Canada, that was what, 20 2016. I'd like to say. Around that time, I was in Vancouver, Calgary. My relatives there were pretty proud of Tim's. I mean, they're like, let's get Timmy's and poutine. Very weird combination, but I did enjoy it. Uh, so I get, hmm. So I guess just over time, it just started sucking a lot more. I see. But yeah, that sucks. What? But isn't that culturally blasphemous? Why? That's terrible. Even I know hockey's important to Canadians. Okay, we still have about 33 minutes on the show. I am very curious about this. Oh, Canadist. Oh, man. Oh. Okay, but to be fair, actually, no, it's not to be fair. It's a question. Would you have rather had Trudeau or Carney? And while we're getting to the answer, let's see how our potential trades are looking. Bitcoin Cash, potential short, ETH, potential long, ADA. God knows what ADA's doing. Let's have a look at Ondo. I think AVAX or Aave might be the clearest one so far. Neither. Fair enough. Fair enough. Really? How does that work? Okay, Ondo. Not entirely clear either. Let's look lower time frame. Maybe you can find something. Okay, Ondo did bounce off that point of interest, but it is nearing that extremity. 5 minutes looks pretty good. Hype is moving. Oh, go hype. We need to hype up. Oh my goodness. That thing just consolidated terribly. Let's see how Tao's doing. You know what? Tao actually looks pretty decent now. Uh, I would probably do a low. I could do a low leverage long on Tao. Let's see what alerts we've got. Top four. Oh, top. Yeah. Yuma launches Betensor Total Market Fund, offering institutional exposure to Tao and AI subnets. Which one? Hype? Oh, yes. I'm guessing this is on a lower time frame. I mean, losing quite a bit of steam here. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, it could. It could over here. But yeah, the thing is, hype looked a lot more like the stellar bullish butt cheek on the 4 hour, right? The higher right cheek. I have faith in hype. I think hype is gonna be a good boy, and he's just gonna run up and leave a lot of the other coins in the dust. It is really nice to trade. Okay, let's have a look back at Ethereum. BCH, Ondo. Again, not a lot of things. Let's have a look at Aave over here. Okay, 5 minute Aave looks pretty good as well. This could be a double top on the 5 minutes, or it could be a double bottom. It could also be a break. 1 hour is overbought, with an FVG and support resting at the FVG here on the 5 minutes. Now, what could happen, right, is you could have a potential wedge forming, but even then, it's difficult to say. Give me one sec, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. Again, nose terrible. But going back to it, silver, 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 silver. Could be a good trade. I think silver might have already had enough time to build some history on our coins. Let's look at it from this perspective. One day, multiple divs, getting a lot of strength. Damn, that would have been perfect if we spotted it. So 618. Silver could be a buy now scenario. On week. Daily looks good. Let's look at the 4-hour. But I think I'll hop in a silver long once we can confirm a few things. So the thing is, on the daily, silver has a lot of room to go. But here in the 4-hour, right, there is that chance you reverse back. So I think I want to play it safe and just wait for the weekend. Trade this down. The FVG was already taken out right over here. So the question is, can this double bottom or will this double top? Can it form those bullish butt cheeks that we're looking for? Because the 4-hour is looking a little bit overextended. Oh yeah, let me send the link over. So it's very simple in sort of its logic, and the easiest way, right, to sort of understand it is it's just the difference between buying and selling, and then the value of that is what it's displaying. So when it's green, the buyers are in control, and then when it's red, the sellers are in control. I think it's a very nice sort of expansion on your money flow oscillator, the one over here in the center, and your volume indicator. So it also gives you a little bit of foreshadowing or like insight into how price action might then move. So Bitcoin is crossing. Ooh, okay. So now it's facing resistance. Let's see what happens here. If it starts breaking to the downside, then I think we can set up short scalps, can't stay in it for too long, and then we can probably go from there. Very welcome. Tao's doing pretty well. So you still have 22 minutes on the show. I'm at 31% on my laptop, just praying that it holds. Okay, Aave did go down. Let's see what it does. Solana breaking to the upside. Hype also breaking to the upside. Which one's this one? Yeah, it's a fair value gap. Oh man. Oh, QXT. Oh yeah, by the way, for those who are new, well, not again, but I guess for those who are new, if you have any questions on indicators or things you want me to look at, just let me know. We still have a good 20 minutes on the show. Okay. Happy Friday to you too. Yeah, I will say some are a little bit outdated, but the core idea is still there. Do you have an indicator from the suite that you like want to go over in particular? A plus plus entry criteria. Yeah, we can go over that. But yeah, is there anything that you might want me to go over QXT while we wait for a little bit of confirmation on these guys? You know what? I do think from yesterday that a lot of things are clearer in terms of the trades that we were taking. So I do prefer later shows. Yeah, don't be shy, QXT. We're not gonna bite. Yeah, there are definitely more setups in the later shows. And this time I'm incentivized to really stay awake for those later shows. Because I do take a nap after 2 for the hackers show. So yeah. Winnable strats. Missing the quant reactor. Uh, I would say the quantum reactor is definitely a strong indicator. I probably wouldn't say it's the strong guess, but it's definitely one of the stronger ones. So let me just turn off a couple of these things so we can just see it a little bit. And let me just focus on this. So right over here, this, let me turn this off. So the quantum reactor, right, the purpose behind the quantum reactor is to basically invalidate or validate trends. So with your strategy builder, I will say that the quantum reactor might be a little late. So the thing with the quantum reactor is that it really takes a while for confirmation. You can see here that this is the 12-hour chart, right? The only time the quantum reactor confirmed truly that the trend is bearish is after a 28-day period on the 12-hour. So that's 56 bars. Now, of course, you can adjust the settings to make it respond faster, right? Because I do have it at slow. That's true, not if you multi-time frame it. That's true. But you can see here that if you do have it at fast, it creates this, which is pretty good. Now, as it stands right now, as it stands right now, right, because we don't have the multi-time frame yet, right? Can we adjust it? Because right now I only have fast or slow. But if we do have the multi-time frame version where we can set the time frame for it, then that solves the issue for in terms of reaction. But yeah, it's meant for invalidation and validation. So I would advise maybe using the dynamic reactor, right, instead of the quantum reactor for now. I do see that you do have access to both quantum and dynamic. But yeah. Are there other indicators that you need help with or that you're curious about? By the way, if you do, it's actually a great time that Digital's here. So, Digital's also got a lot of tips and tricks on how to bring out more of the indicators. So, he could probably chime in on a couple of the things that I miss. Oh, um, the plus version. The plus version is gonna be the more advanced version. The pro version is the original suite. So if there is the option to pick the plus, pick the plus. There's more tools and it's gonna be a little bit more advanced. Rumor has it that there are major updates coming. Well, thank you for being ominous, Digital. Yeah, you're very welcome, QXT. How ominous! Major updates coming. It's like a game, like Minecraft. Speaking of Minecraft, I haven't played Minecraft in so long. Now that I think about it, I think I need to play just like a marathon of video games before I get into law school. I only have 10 days left. It's not fun. Oh, okay. Ethereum could top here. Again, I'm hesitant to go short because any shorts we take right now with USDT dominance looking bearish is going to be terrible. Like it's going to be short-lived. Excuse me. Yeah, they would be really quick. I think the strategy is really just waiting for these setups to play out and then go long. Right? Looking for some kind of bottom to happen, then go long. Of course. So my classes for Chart Prime are Wednesdays to Fridays. So for Mondays and Tuesdays, you have I believe Alex and OC. Definitely ask them. OC's very knowledgeable on indicators. He's definitely gonna help you. Then on Wednesday it's me, and then I believe Piper has TA plus. Piper's also wonderful. Actually, you know what? I should let's just be real. Everyone's wonderful for in terms of like our analysts and our coaches. Wonderful people, and they'll really iron out sort of the basics and your questions for sure. Thank you, Hemdroid. I think my class is probably the most unhinged though. It's okay. 11 minutes till the end. Need to properly look for a setup. So hype long, the only thing that's playing out well. Solana. Actually, you know what? I haven't seen Gur yet. It's very rare. Solana could make another move to the upside. It wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. It looks like it's gonna flag. Right, this is a triangle, but with price action looking like that, let's see where we could land. $86 Solana could be coming. Yeah, I think so too. So if we are looking for a long, so it is bearish div, but we could bounce off that point of interest. And let me get rid of these lines. We have too many drawings, unfortunately. Too many ideas. Which is both a good and a bad thing. Right, and then if this wicks to the downside, we want to be a little bit away. for volatility. We can see that the predictive range just does put the 786 over there. So we could be getting a 1 to 4. This could be a very interesting trade. Okay, Aave's coming down. And if it is going down, no, I don't know if it's going to be a parallel channel, but I would like Aave to be oversold. You're on the 5 minutes, and then compare 15 4-hour. I think Aave could have a good chance of pushing back up. Now, Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash are two things as well. Bitcoin Cash, I do think, could fall back down, massively overextended. And just as, I guess, a quick check over what is doing pretty well, there is TAC, Fartcoin, Uni, Lit is also doing pretty well on the 24-hour. Let's have a look at Lit. I mean, Lit's not looking too lit. Bearish divs. Lots of bearish divs. Let's go to the 1 week on this thing. But the thing is, that is a bullish continuation. Or that is still a bullish move. It could be setting up for bullish cheeks. So this could be the top for Lit. Link. You know what? You're right. I haven't even looked at Link. It's been so long. Link is... that is not how you spell Link. Link's an RWA. Ooh. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. 4-hour looks juicy. Bullish butt cheek with even cheeks, right? Nice even cheeks. We like even cheeks. Right? Can't go wrong with even cheeks. 1 week is starting to gain semblance of some kind of strength returning. Let's go down to the 30 minutes. Okay, if I don't announce something, I'll announce later. Don't give me that look. Okay, but we could still be setting up for even cheeks here on the 30 minutes. I don't know. I think we won't get even cheeks. We'll probably get a higher right cheek, given sort of the trend line that we're making and the point of interest. Yeah, no, I still think this goes down. So if we want to be very just if we want to scrutinize this really well, 30 minutes, I think it's still waiting to set up another cheek that will also reset the 4-hour to the downside. Heck, it could probably wick all the way down to 7.6, if I'm being honest. It's like a massive wick and then bounce off. So what I would do is I'd set an alert at 7.7 and see what happens. If we bounce, we can probably go long on Link. And Link, because it is in the process of making those cheeks fly, we definitely could be looking at a move to that whale's resistance or to the next fib extension. So the whale resistance is the premium. And in terms of fib extension, we have as high as 9.3, which would actually be pretty decent. So again, we have multiple ideas here. We just need to figure out which one we want to go for. And again, I'll be up. I actually have a trip tomorrow. Gotta leave at, what is that, 8 a.m.? I think I leave at 8 a.m. So yeah, I think I'll probably just stay up and call it a day. But yeah, I think Link could fly. Thank you so much, JR. Thankfully, I'm not driving this time. I just bought the steak. All right. So we still have about 4 minutes on the show again. If there's anyone with questions, let me know. But just to sort of wrap it up for the weekend before we end, watch USDT dominance. I do think we get some kind of sell-off. I just don't know when. Sometime this weekend, there's going to be a very small window where there's a sell-off, right? It could be because we close below this point right here. So it's 8.666, right? But ultimately, USDT dominance is doing something interesting, and that ultimately influences the market. So first things first, let's go over it again. We close below this white line that opens the window to go down here, right? And when you go down here, you go long. Now, when you get to this point, that suddenly begs the question: do we bounce, or do we continue? If we continue, we stay in our longs. If we bounce, we look for shorts. Now, when we get to this point, the question is: are we going to continue, or are we going to reject? And we're just going to have to keep answering the question. So, right now, those are two scenarios. Another scenario is that you close above this line, and if you do, short everything. Right? If you close really strong above the line, just short everything. Do I like/rate the chick magnet? It is useful to an extent. I would say it helps me validate some ideas, but I don't use it as a target anymore these days, if that makes sense. I back in December, I believe, I was using it as a target for Pippin, and it did pretty well. But nowadays, it's not doing as great as a target for final take profits. I really just see it as where price action eventually wants to go. Yeah. But it's still a great indicator. And it's such a... How do I say this? First of all, I think we can all agree the naming is fantastic. Bravo came up with a very cool name, the Chick Magnet, right? I also like that, it has animations. I don't know how it does that, but I like that. But in terms of the algorithm behind it, or the coding behind it, I think it could do more. Or it could be more, if that makes sense. But yeah, in terms of Bitcoin, right, if we go to the weekly, we are getting a bullish div. So on the weekly, if we close with a bullish div, expect a retest down. That gives us an opportunity to go long and potentially break above our upper levels. So if I get rid of some of these lines, right, I'll get rid of this one and this one. So if we're able to close with this bullish div, don't go long right away, because there's a good chance we're going to retest part of the candle, part of the support, see if it holds. We're likely going to bounce, right? And from there, we have a couple take profit levels. We have 64,000, we have 66,000, we have all the way up to 72,000, potentially even to 73. So, again, the macro right now, as it stands, seems to be favoring us to go long. That being said, there is a chance we get a very small sell-off during the weekend that we have to be careful with. Once that sell-off happens, let's look for long positions. And then, of course, when we get to our levels that I've demonstrated here on the weekly, we have to be cautious, and we have to probably look at potential shorts. The move to 52,000 or 53,000, according to Citibank, is still possible. And to me, I think it's definitely still possible, right? Once you've got people trading Bitcoin back at 70,000, they'll absolutely be euphoric, but forget that you could still dump to 52,000. In terms of the historical cycles, we get our bottom sometime in October. And since we're respecting the cycles right now, we're likely going to respect them again. And I think 52,000 is definitely in the cards. Yeah. And mind you, the news is overly optimistic. So that as a contrarian to me, that's when it comes to financial markets, optimism should always be met with caution, and fear should always be met with uh, skepticism. oh, oh man. Actually, you know what? I've never had pigeon. Anyways, that about does it for this week. Thank you guys for joining me. Next week, I think we will return to normal programming, and then the week after, I will make announcements whether or not we'll be keeping the normal program at 9:30 a.m. EST. But with that said, I am Langstrom. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'll get the recording up as soon as possible, and I am watching for the potential sell-off that could happen today. If not, then I'll probably send a signal tomorrow. But thank you guys for joining me, and don't forget to always use a stop loss. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow. I'll see hackers on Monday and the rest of you on Wednesday. See you guys.